Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the latest episode of Married at First Sight, Denver, which aired last Wednesday. And I'm just going to give you guys my insight and my thoughts and kind of go over what happened in the episode very briefly and just tell you guys what I'm thinking. So at this point in the season, there's only two couples left who are actually together. Claire and Cameron have separated and have decided to get a divorce, even though she is trying to support Cameron through his surgery. Lauren and Orion are long gone, and Michael has been paired with a woman named Chloe, who he's supposed to marry this week, coming Wednesday, January 24th. So the episode this week is supposed to be the sex episode or the intimacy episode. And it's really interesting because supposedly, I don't believe this, but supposedly none of the couples have had sex. None of them. And I truly do not believe this is the case for Brennan and Emily. I firmly believe that one of the reasons why she is so attached to him and continuing to try is because she did sleep with him. And I think he told her to not tell the cameras and not tell the producers. We saw a lot of interesting things this episode with Brennan. Number one, Brennan talks to his very mature, very wise friend who looks like, he just looks like he has it together. He's not he looks like your average guy who, married a nice woman, had kids, and understands life. Brennan looks like a playboy. So Brennan's talking to his friend, and his friend is telling him, you can't just take one thing and use that to throw this whole person out of the window. You're taking yourself too seriously. And these are all things that we've seen as viewers, but it was really nice to see his friend tell him the truth. I was like, wow, this is really good. Your friend is telling you that, marriage is about effort. You have to try. You can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater, proverbially speaking. And I think it's interesting because his friend knows him. His friend is saying, hey, I've seen you do this before, almost. Like, we've seen you do this, so we know what's up. And, Brennan seems to be taking it in stride and, taking his advice. But later on in the episode, we find out that that's not really true. So he and Emily go see Dr. Pia, and Emily reveals that, hey, we're not really following through on the tasks that you asked us to do. Brennan is modifying it. And once again, Brennan is interrupting Emily during these conversations. And it's very apparent to me that Emily is scared of Brennan. That is my inkling. She is afraid of him. And I mean, maybe not necessarily violent. She has mentioned that he throws things and gets upset and doesn't want any of that to be seen on camera. And my hunch is he tells her how to behave in front of that camera. Otherwise, she catches all kinds of grief when she gets home. I don't think Emily is in a safe situation with Brennan. I don't think he abuses her. I don't think he's violent. But in my opinion, I think she is very scared of what happens when she doesn't follow the script. You could see him bubbling up with anger when Dr. P is like, hey, let her talk. She's my wife. No, baby, you don't even want to be married to her. You told everybody this relationship isn't real. So I don't know that Brennan understands that in his attempt to not make himself look bad in front of people, he is actually making himself look worse. You're saying to Emily, basically, I don't want to live with you. The producers had to force them to live together. And then, which indicates that you don't really like her. You don't want to be married to her. But then when it comes to talking to Dr. Pia, you're like, oh, no, I'm protecting my wife. No, you're protecting your self-image. And this is a sign of someone who has some ego issues. And this is why I say I'm afraid for Emily. You guys, we've got to watch body language. When they were in that meeting with Dr. Pia, she was almost afraid to say anything honestly. She talks like an HR memo. And I say this because when you talk like an HR memo, you are trying everything to not activate any response in someone. You don't want them to be emotional. You don't want to say anything that's going to send them off the radar. She's talking like she's like a cat dancing around the porridge. I heard that from somebody's comment in my video. She's just waiting, like, oh, let me just make sure I don't say anything incorrectly. And I think that's really telling about who's Brennan really is and his character. It tells the whole truth. The other thing that I posit is happening is that I do think Emily might have a drinking problem. I do. It concerns me. It is my opinion that she drinks a lot. Now, that it could be that on the show, they're always giving them alcohol, which we know is part of this whole reality TV thing. But she is constantly drinking, and he's talking about her slipping in the shower and having, these are signs of like functioning drinking problems. Nonetheless, I don't think that is a cause for Brennan to treat her the way she is being treated. I think Brennan, if he was mature, would go to the producers and say, hey, she has a bit of a drinking problem, in my opinion. So what can we do about it? Instead of going on camera and, making up this whole persona that I'm, protecting my wife and all this other stuff, and then behind closed doors, not really wanting to be with her, because it's very obvious that he's not attracted to her. And he's very obvious that he wants to take it day by day. So I think that we all know that this couple's not going to work out. And I think that Emily should be very careful when she's around Brennan. And I think that she's already slept with him because she keeps coming back, unless she's being prodded by the producers to stay for a storyline. But this is hard to watch. And I think it's hard to watch for me because I know what it's like when someone puts on a good face for the world, and then behind closed doors is a absolute nightmare. I know what that's like, which is violent and vicious and mean. And, I don't think he's hitting her, but I think he definitely uses his physical presence and his rage to intimidate her. And these are things, again, this is TV. Like, we don't know, the producers are able to make things look how they want to look, but just the way she talks in the video, she comes across as very afraid and timid of Brennan. So we'll have to see what happens there. But you guys let me know what you guys think about that one. So Becca and Austin. Again, this is the intimacy episode. They haven't slept together yet. I have some ideas as to why. I don't think this couple is lying about sleeping together. I do think Brennan really are. I do think they're lying. I think they have. I think they slept together on the honeymoon. And I think that he regretted it and he got the ick afterwards. Becca and Austin have not slept together yet. They go to a art place where they can create a terrarium with naked figures. And Austin reveals that he has had sex outside before, which is really interesting because his beliefs, I'm surprised that was something that he revealed on television. He could be lying. He could be lying and saying, because he doesn't want to be seen as like a 30-year-old virgin. But I would believe Austin if he said if he was a virgin, if he's never had sex. I would believe him. So I think two things are happening. Number one, he's not that attracted to Becca. I genuinely do not think he's attracted to Becca. We'll see in the episode coming up. Or number two, he is a virgin and isn't really sure how to get this thing going. I guess the third option is he knows he's not going to marry her. This is my guess, that he's not going to stay married to her, and he doesn't want to put himself in a situation where he bonds her to him in that way and then he leaves her. So those are my guesses. The experts give them a little basket to do some intimacy stuff. I don't know about you guys, but they're kind of awkward to me. Are you guys seeing this? They're very awkward, in my opinion. And even it was really interesting. I can't remember if it was the last episode or this one when they were having dinner with his parents. It just seemed very platonic. That's what it is. It seemed very platonic. So I'm not so sure that this couple they're compatible in a lot of ways, except the core values, which is religion. I think that's what's happening. And I know people are saying, couples work out all the time. I don't think that Austin's particular brand of Christianity, his particular brand, is not compatible with her agnosticism. And I think you guys have maybe seen this roaming around the internet that Austin actually asked for a Christian, and Becca asked for someone who is agnostic, and that the producers did not give them what they asked for. And if that is the case, that's an assumption that we're hearing this allegedly. If that is the case, then they both know that they're not getting married or not staying married, and they're doing this for the episodes. They're getting their money and they'll move on. So that's what I think is happening here. I think this is a disastrous season. I think this is one of the worst seasons of Married at First Sight that there ever was. I think the experts were desperate for people, and I think they did a sloppy job of connecting the couples based on compatibility. As I told y'all before, I don't even think that Chloe and Michael are gonna work out, but I want to be wrong about this. I want to be wrong about Chloe and Michael because I want them to work out. I want her to find love, and I want him to find love as well. So anyway, that's my recap and thoughts on these episodes. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Emily and Brennan have slept together? Do you think Emily is scared of Brennan? Do you think maybe she has potentially some drinking issues and that's why he's turned off by her? Do you think Becca and Austin are actually compatible? Do you think that Becca and Austin should stay together? Do you think that he's actually, has sexual experience? What do you guys think? Leave those in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like this video. Bye.